Well, on October 2nd, the 3i Atlas came closest to Mars, within 30 million kilometers, and the high-res camera on board the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter took several images of it. These are the highest resolution images we have, 3 times better in spatial resolution, about 30 kilometers per pixel, compared to the previous best image, which was the Hubble Space Telescope image. And that was a day after the government shutdown took over NASA, and we haven't gotten the data.
This was what Avi Loeb said on the national television News Nation on Thursday, October 30th. You know what that means? NASA does have the images. The closest photos ever taken of an interstellar object, captured by the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter on October 3rd. Resolution down to 30 kilometers. They've had them for weeks, and they won't release them. The official excuse? Government shutdown, bad timing, bureaucratic delays. But here's what they're not telling you. While NASA went dark, China's observatories never stopped watching. Europe released images 4 days later. Amateur astronomers in their backyards captured data that space agencies are still keeping classified. And then there's the 36-hour window, September 29th to October 1st. The most critical observation period of this interstellar visitor. Nearly every major Western telescope simultaneously went offline. Hubble, gyroscope maintenance. James Webb, instrument switching. Very Large Telescope, mirror cleaning. Gemini, north and south, redirected to other targets. All at once, during the peak activity of an object that will never return. Coincidence or coordination? Today, I'm going to show you what China saw while America looked away. The 8 documented anomalies that make this object unlike anything we've encountered, and why every space agency on Earth followed the same playbook. Silence first, minimal data later, raw observations locked away. Because what happened on October 3rd wasn't just a flyby, it was a test, and we might have just failed it. Let me take you back to how this all started. Let me set the scene. July 1st, 2025. The Atlas survey in Chile detects a fast-moving object. Within days, astronomers confirm it. 3i Atlas, an interstellar comet from beyond our solar system. For 3 months, telescopes around the world tracked it. Hubble captured images in July. James Webb analyzed its chemistry in August. Ground observatories from Hawaii to Spain documented its approach. Everything was going according to plan. Then came October. October 1st, the US government shuts down. Budget impasse, political gridlock, the usual Washington dysfunction. NASA furloughs thousands of workers. The website stops updating. Press releases halt. Data pipelines freeze. October 3rd, 3i Atlas reaches its closest point to Mars, just 29 million kilometers away. This is it, the moment every astronomer has been waiting for. NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, equipped with the most powerful camera ever sent to another planet, captures detailed images. The European Space Agency's ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter photographs the comet. China's Tianwen-1 orbiter records observations. Even NASA's Perseverance rover on the Martian surface captures a faint smudge in the night sky. But none of it gets released. Not from NASA. October 4th, silence. October 5th, silence. October 6th, still nothing. Finally, on October 7th, 4 full days after the flyby, the European Space Agency releases the first images. Not NASA, Europe. The image shows a fuzzy white dot with a faint tail. Nothing spectacular. Just proof that, yes, the comet was there. But where were NASA's images? The high-rise camera should have captured far better detail. 30-kilometer resolution. That's incredible for an object 29 million kilometers away. NASA's official statement: due to the government shutdown, our website is not being updated. Data will be released when operations resume. Okay, fair enough. Except there's a problem with that explanation. China wasn't shut down. Europe wasn't shut down. The UAE's Hope Mars mission wasn't shut down, and they all had eyes on 3I Atlas. So why the coordinated silence? Here's what most people don't know. While NASA was dark, China's space program was operating at full capacity. Tibet, Qinghai Province, Yunnan. These aren't just any observatories. These are some of the highest altitude telescopes on Earth. Thin atmosphere, incredibly clear skies, perfect conditions for deep space observation, and they never stopped watching 3I Atlas. September 28th through October 7th. While Western telescopes went through their mysterious maintenance cycle, China's observatories maintained continuous observation. Let me explain what I mean by that. In late September, right before the Mars flyby, something strange happened. September 28th, Hubble Space Telescope pauses for gyroscope realignment. September 29th, James Webb Space Telescope enters instrument switching mode. Thermal stabilization required. Over 24 hours offline. September 30th, Chile's Very Large Telescope begins maintenance cycle. Mirrors being cleaned. October 1st, Gemini North and Gemini South switch to pre-approved planetary studies, not observing 3I Atlas. October 1st, US government shuts down. NASA goes dark. Each event on its own? Completely normal. Scheduled maintenance, routine operations. But all of them at once? During the most critical observation window of an interstellar object that will never return? That's not coincidence. That's coordination. And here's the kicker. China's telescopes had no such maintenance scheduled. China's Tianwen-1 Mars orbiter was in perfect position. The moderate resolution imaging camera captured data throughout the flyby. According to multiple sources who follow Chinese space program announcements, Tianwen-1's observation schedule was never interrupted. But the data wasn't released publicly either. Not immediately. Why? Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, the guy who's been tracking this object since day one, said something interesting in an interview on October 8th. The recent delay in data dissemination from NASA as a result of the government shutdown does not flag extraterrestrial intelligence, but rather terrestrial stupidity. Terrestrial stupidity. He's calling it incompetence, not conspiracy. But then he said something else that raised eyebrows. So far, no data from human-made Mars orbiters was publicly released by NASA or ESA. Wait, ESA released images on October 7th. So what did Loeb mean? He meant raw data, the detailed, unprocessed observations, the kind of data that scientists actually use. ESA released one image, a proof of life. Yes, we saw it. But the spectroscopic data, the thermal readings, the detailed composition analysis, still classified as proprietary. Let's talk about the most suspicious part of this entire timeline. During the absolute peak of 3I Atlas activity, when it was venting the most gas, producing the most light, exhibiting its most interesting behavior, there was a 36-hour period when almost no Western observations were recorded. September 29th to October 1st. This is the window when the comet was at its closest to Mars, when thermal emissions were highest, when any unusual behavior would be most visible. And we have almost no public data from that period. But China does. According to a Medium article published on October 9th by Pavel Zlotnik, an aerospace analyst who tracks international space programs, China's high-altitude observatories in Tibet and Qinghai maintained continuous coverage during this exact window. Zlotnik writes, while the world's largest telescopes paused for recalibration, a network of smaller instruments on Asia's roof recorded the only uninterrupted data stream of the interstellar visitor. Now, I want to be very clear here. I'm not saying China captured images of an alien mothership, but I am saying this. They captured something during those 36 hours. And whatever it was, they haven't released it publicly either. Not immediately. Why? If this is just a natural comet, if there's nothing unusual about it, why the coordinated silence? Why did NASA, ESA, China, and the UAE all wait days to release anything? And why? When they finally did release images, were they low resolution, heavily processed, and stripped of detailed technical data? The James Webb Space Telescope observed 3I Atlas on August 6th. Its spectroscopy revealed something bizarre. The comet's coma is dominated by carbon dioxide, not water. Most comets are 80% water. 3I Atlas is 4% water. That's not just unusual, that's unprecedented. The Keck Observatory in Hawaii detected nickel in the gas surrounding the comet. High concentrations of nickel, but almost no iron. In nature, nickel and iron form together. You don't get one without the other, except in manufactured nickel alloys, industrial alloys. The Nordic Optical Telescope in the Canary Islands captured something even stranger. 3I Atlas had an anti-tail pointing toward the sun in July and August. Comet tails point away from the sun. That's how they work. Solar wind pushes the gas backward, but 3I Atlas had a jet pointing forward. Then, in September, it flipped. The anti-tail became a normal tail. Avi Loeb's colleague, Adam Hibbard, pointed out something chilling. If the object is an alien spacecraft slowing down, and the anti-tail is breaking thrust, then this change from anti-tail to tail would be entirely expected near perihelion. Breaking thrust. As in, a spacecraft firing engines to decelerate. Now, most astronomers disagree with that interpretation. They say it's just the viewing angle changing, or natural outgassing rotating with the comet. But here's what no one disputes. The behavior is unusual, unprecedented even, which brings us back to the silence. If this is just an unusual comet, why treat the data like it's classified? While the world's space agencies played their information games, something unexpected happened. Amateur astronomers stepped up. A YouTuber called Dobsonian Power captured solar telescope images during the blackout period. He posted it on Blue Sky on October 1st. I think Perseverance may have spotted interstellar comet 3I Atlas last night from Mars. NASA never confirmed it, but the coordinates matched perfectly. Independent observatories across Asia, South America, and Africa coordinated their own observation campaign. No government funding, no official approval, just scientists who wanted to see what was being hidden. And what they found backed up what China's observatories had detected. The comet was exhibiting behavior that didn't match any natural comet model. Not in its chemistry, not in its trajectory, not in its outgassing patterns. One analyst tracking space programs wrote, "The silence around 3I Atlas is almost textbook. Whether it's bureaucracy, coincidence, or something more deliberate, we're watching the same choreography that would unfold if an image had shown something impossible." Think about that. The same pattern you'd see if they found something they weren't ready to announce. Immediate internal classification, cross-agency coordination, delayed public release, heavily processed images instead of raw data. It's the information playbook, and every space agency, American, European, Chinese, followed it to the letter. Let me lay out exactly what makes 3I Atlas different from every other comet we've ever studied. Anomaly. Number 1. Speed, 68 kilometers per second at perihelion, faster than any object in our solar system. Anomaly. Number 2. Size, at least 5.6 kilometers across, 1,000 times more massive than Oumuamua. Anomaly. Number 3. Trajectory, within 3 degrees of the ecliptic plane, threading the needle through planetary orbits. Statistical probability, less than 1 in 20,000. Anomaly. Mars 4, nickel signature. High nickel, almost no iron. A ratio that only exists in manufactured alloys. Anomaly, number 5, water content. 4% water instead of the typical 80%. CO2-dominated chemistry never seen before in any comet. Anomaly, number 6, the anti-tail flip-forward jet in July-August. Normal tail in September. Complete reversal of mass flow. Anomaly. Number 7, extreme negative polarization. Light scattering properties unlike any natural object in our solar system. Anomaly. Number 8, WOW, signal alignment. Originated within 9 degrees of the 1977 WOW signal direction from Sagittarius. Near the galactic center, 8 anomalies. Any one of them is interesting. All 8 together? That's why scientists like Avi Loeb are asking uncomfortable questions. That's why NASA, ESA, and China all waited days to release anything. And that's why, when amateur astronomers started posting their own observations, the official channels suddenly got very interested in correcting the record. But here's the thing, you can't correct observations. You can only explain them differently. And so far, the explanations don't quite add up. On October 29th, 3I Atlas reached Perihelion, its closest approach to the Sun. It was hidden from Earth's view, behind the Sun's glare, unobservable. For 37 days, we were blind. If this object is a spacecraft, if it used the Oberth effect to maneuver during perihelion, we missed it. The one moment when any intelligent action would occur, and we couldn't watch. By design or just bad luck? In early November, 3I Atlas will emerge from behind the Sun, visible again from Earth. Telescopes will immediately turn toward it, looking for changes, searching for evidence of maneuvering, checking the trajectory. If the orbit has changed, even slightly, that's proof. If it released anything during perihelion, we'll see it in the coming weeks. But here's what bothers me. We've already seen 8 anomalies. We've already detected chemistry that shouldn't exist naturally. We've already documented behavior that defies comet models. And the response from space agencies was silence.